And welcome to tonight's episode of Fish North Georgia's The Live Well from here in the prestigious Fish North Georgia studios in beautiful Marble Hill, Georgia. We have a great panel tonight. You don't need a crystal ball to see into the future. We got the future of North Georgia's angling scene for you right here. And this episode and all episodes of The Live Well, as always, are brought to you tonight by For Her Outdoor Apparel. Check them out at www.forheroutdoor.com. for a full lineup of casual and performance apparel for the lady or the male angler in your life. Let's get the show started. Ryan, bring us in.
We first start out by saying, Paul, we've missed you.
That was
fantastic. And you do an absolutely
Mm-hmm.
fantastic job on the intro. Everyone in the comment section, give Paul a round of applause because that's just the way that it is. Paul, we missed you.
Good stuff.
We appreciate you. So
appreciate that, guys.
Exactly. Absolutely. So listen, all of you guys that are watching, welcome to this episode of the Live Well. We have back from Nationals here. We have our very own local team of Wyatt, Richards, and Colby Goforth here. And their boat captain could not make it, but we'll leave that up to him on why he wasn't here. But he was the bearded guy. So we got Wyatt and Colby here in the house tonight. Fresh off their third place finish in Nationals out of an ungodly amount of boats, 488. Yeah,
I think 81.
81, something like that.
It
was ridiculous. There's my fellow gatekeeper right there. What's up there? That's Jonathan. I think that's Jonathan Farmer. So that's my fellow gatekeeper. Apparently, Farmer and I are gatekeepers because a 30-second TikTok means that we don't talk about nothing. But if you haven't watched our podcast about the fall transition, you're missing out because we dropped so much information that only you'll find out here at Fish North Georgia if you watch that. And I have that magazine that's stuck to my elbow. So, oh well, that is what it is. So, listen, this is going to be a fun episode. We're going to talk about these guys. We're going to let them talk. They're going to talk all about what they did up on Nationals, up on Lake Hartwell. Okay, just this past weekend, they're up there for 3 days. I don't know how many days y'all practice for. 3 days of practice, 3 days of tournament time. Listen, going into Saturday, they were in first place. Listen, they did not win, but they finished third. But going into the last day, final 12 boats, first place, absolutely, 100%. Colby said it best. That is the most nerve-wracking thing. If you don't think pressure is real, I guarantee y'all are under some pressure going into that.
It's a mental game.
Like throwing up, to be honest.
He felt like throwing up. So.
At that point, it's so much of a mental game when you're in that. It's almost like you would rather not be in first place because you got to. I think the announcer said it. You got a target on your back.
Yeah, you got everybody going after you.
100%.
But like if you're trying to make up ground, it always seems like it's a whole lot easier.
Well, you got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
You go in the final day in first place. You're like, I ain't got anything to lose. Yeah, that's true. But hey, listen, a lead is a lead. But listen, we are proud of y'all guys first and foremost. We're very proud. We're very proud that y'all are here in this community here. And one of the things that we're going to talk about later in the second half of the show is kind of pertaining to y'all and pertaining to a lot of the other guys that are here in the state of Georgia, specifically up here in North Georgia. But we'll get into that a little bit later on in the show. So let's talk about this. All right. Let's start at it. Let's start with practice because I'm sure, and everybody of y'all got questions.
We're talking about practice.
We're talking about practice. Any of y'all in the comment section got questions? Don't hesitate to ask them. Please shout them out. That's what these boys are here, and definitely give them a congratulations because third place is absolutely just I know y'all didn't win, but listen, that's y'all don't realize how good that is. I mean, they got some hardware over here, So I mean, it's
Colby, hold up the trophy.
Grab the trophy. Look at that thing.
Don't drop it.
Each one of them got one. There they are, right there. Looks absolutely fantastic for them. This looks great. So we absolutely give them a big congratulations, seriously, because they deserve it. And we love them. We appreciate y'all, and we look forward to seeing because y'all are only going into y'all's junior year. Y'all got 2 more of these things to qualify for.
Sorry.
So, it's hey.
You got the SAF at Hartwell too.
Yeah. The next we just figured out I think Cooper McDonald actually told me, I had no idea, but the SAF World or Nationals and World Finals that was at the Wisconsin this year is at Hartwell this year.
Ooh.
So I mean to get qualified for that's going to be big. but just a lot of pressure to live up to the season we had this year.
Well, we're going to talk about the pressure because I think you guys next year are going to be a little bit more geared up for the pressure a little bit better. So let's get right into it. Again, I want to reiterate this back to all you guys in the comment section. If you got any questions whatsoever, do not hesitate to ask them. So, so let's just start with it. You guys go up there, post-tornadic activity, and y'all are up there. When was the first day of practice?
Okay, so I believe it was
Sunday.
We went up there, and we drove up Sunday morning, and we had absolutely no clue what to do. But I mean, we figured it was going to be good fishing. We'd fished the state championship, Georgia State Championship there last year, but that was in June, and this is in July, so we know it's going to be a little bit different. But a lot of the spots we fished in last year in June, they really only had the small spots on them. And we knew that really wasn't going to cut it. And the first day, to be 100% honest, we did not catch a keeper fish the whole entire day. We fished until like 3 o'clock till we couldn't stand the heat anymore.
Good start.
Great start. Makes you feel great about yourself going into the Nationals. Not a single keeper. So we go into day 2. We're completely bumfuzzled. We don't know what to do. And we go out there and we catch, I think we caught a limit. But it was a limit for about 3.5 pounds. So pretty solid limit.
12-inch specials on Hartwell.
Yes, sir.
Exactly what it was.
Yeah. Exactly. And so we had to find that largemouth because we just couldn't get on them.
Which we caught, 10 or so fish the second day, just
all
little bitty ones.
Cookie cutters.
Right. That third day, I had 1 5-pounder get off at the boat.
It was so like leading up.
We figured out like the deal, what we was doing, and just went on from there.
So what was the deal?
So as we started on day 3, we didn't. I feel like it was on into lunch until we ever got a bite. We didn't catch a keeper.
At least 10.
Yeah, until at least 10, maybe on into lunch, and so we didn't get a bite. And then we pulled up on one cane pile, and we caught a fish. And it was
like a 3.5 pound spot.
Yeah, it was like a 3.5 pound spot. So we were ecstatic about that. And so we pulled up, first cast over it, and just wolf packs coming up out of that thing.
Ready to eat.
Ready to eat. That's what we've been looking for all the past 2 days of practice, and we could not find it. We ran a million cane piles, a million brush piles, couldn't find it. We scanned for hours looking for those things. We just ran up on one point, and then that point had lots of brush on it.
I will say I didn't know about that brush pile.
Oh, okay. He didn't know about that.
I knew about it.
Okay, so he knowed about that brush pile.
I didn't.
Okay, so for those of you guys watching, Colby, this was Colby's brush pile. All right,
but
I'm just playing. So
we ran there was 5 brush piles on that point all around the outside of it, and every single one of them had fish. We had a lot come up and just swipe at the bait, but we knew if they'd come up like that and 1 or 2 of them would at least hit it, we knew we could. On tournament day, we could go back, make some adjustments, color adjustments and stuff, and catch those fish. And we ended up catching one, probably 2.5 pound largemouth, and that was good because we finally caught a largemouth. That's what we need, but not that size. And so it was probably about 2 o'clock, and we ran up the lake because we had a couple brush piles up there that we were going to try to hit that maybe would have some largemouth on it. We'd found them the day before but couldn't get them to eat. But that day was just different than the rest for some reason or another. I don't know if it was the bluebird skies or what it was.
It's herring fishing. Yeah, it's herring eater fishing.
They're all over the place. But we pulled up on this one spot, and Colby just reaches down there, picks up that fluke, shines out there. There's the train of them. And we talked to the boys who won it, and they said, y'all see them trains out there on the scope? And it's crazy to even think that they were on the exact same bite as us. And they're like, we know exactly what you're talking about because you shine out there, and there's like 6 of them lined up.
Oh, yeah.
And Colby picked up his fluke, threw it out there, come up. There was like 3 or 4 boats around us.
Yeah, and I saw it come up behind me, just going across the water. I was like, oh, God, here it comes. And it grabbed it, and I was whack.
Got it. Stuck it. How big was it?
It came up. He's fighting. He's holding the rod low, not trying to show everybody that we just hooked a fish. We didn't know how big it was. We knew it was a big fish. Didn't know how big. So it got it right next to the boat. Hadn't jumped. Hadn't shown itself. it come up, couldn't get out of the water. Biggest largemouth I have seen.
He was the biggest of the week.
On Hartwell, yeah. That fish was a giant. It's probably at least 6 pounds.
No.
It was 6.
At least 5.
That sucker had a gut on it. But it come up, I mean, just sloshing all over the place, spit it in our face. We crunk up and left. That's the only thing we had. We knew we could catch.
Thing to run on.
Yeah, we knew we had some brush piles we could run, and we had that one spot. We didn't want to give any more information to those people around us, so we just left. And so that's how practice was. So we were running on a wing and a prayer. But
so we already got a question right there talking about that. So we'll go ahead and answer that question right there from Facebook user. If you're on Facebook, go to www.streamyard.com/Facebook and put your name in, and we'll be able to know who you are when you comment if you're watching us so graciously on Facebook tonight on the group page. So you guys pretty much put all your eggs in the basket on herring eaters, offshore brush piles, around brush piles, 100%. In that vicinity, herring eaters.
Yes.
We had before we had caught that one good fish, we had the thought in the back of our minds that maybe we could go shallow for like the first 30 minutes to an hour just to kind of see if we could pick up one good bite, go throw a buzz bait around or something, or see if we could get that one good largemouth. And after we hooked that one, we just decided it'd probably be best.
Just and also we had a late boat number that first day.
Yeah,
we were
that will affect it a lot, especially
421.
Because by the time y'all probably took off, the morning bite's pretty much over. Because when did they blast y'all? About 6:30 every morning. Roughly?
It was 6:20 when they started. I feel like we got out at like 8 o'clock, maybe. I can't really remember, but I mean, just the morning bite was gone. But
it was about 7:45, 8. I remember looking at it.
So one thing that I really think caused one of the biggest helping factors in this, on day one, they started generating water at 12 o'clock. We were about 421, flight 18. So we had to come in at 5:10. So we had 5 hours.
Y'all got the luck of the draw on that for sure.
So there's that day. We come in with 11-1, and so the second day, we're thinking, well, we don't have as much time if they generate the same time.
But they started pulling at 9 o'clock the next day.
So I mean, we really,
for us.
Yeah,
I mean, got super lucky.
Yeah.
And he caught a 4-pounder last minute.
I mean, absolutely
within
last
an hour.
minute.
And y'all were pretty much fishing basically up the Seneca Arm, correct?
I'm not sure. I don't even
which
know.
creek it is.
We ran to where we had brush piles.
Damn.
Like being 100% honest, I have no clue where we're going on Hartwell. But we ran into one spot.
Okay,
on
so
Hartwell, I can go. I just don't know what I'm doing on the map.
All right, so Colby showed me the map. So I'm trying to get y'all. They were up the Seneca Arm. He showed me on avionics. They were at the mouth of the Seneca Arm, which is the Seneca River, on the arm of Hartwell. That's probably one of the most dynamite locations. The previous couple of classics and stuff have been pretty much won up the Seneca Arm. I've been up one up that size. So, we're going to talk about 400 boats too here in a little bit, but, so that side of the lake is really, really good, especially if there's any Hartwell locals, that may be watching this at a later time. You're going to know, they're going to agree. They're going to say, the Seneca Arm is probably one of the better arms of the lake to fish if you're going to go up. The Tugaloo is, it does good in the spring, but outside the spring, the Tugaloo kind of dies on you a little bit. But for the most part, what are y'all grinning about?
Just Colby's comments.
Colby's comments. Okay, so listen for you guys that, by the way, for you guys that might be listening to this on Spotify, just know that these two young men right here are definitely 16 years old, about to be 17 years old. When do you turn 17?
December.
So they're both about to be 17 years old. They're both boys. Okay.
What's that supposed to mean?
They're both boys. There's really no other way of describing it. So, so pretty much forward-facing sonar though was pretty much dictating what y'all were doing. Do you believe you would have caught the fish that you caught if it had not have been for forward-facing sonar?
We would have caught like 6 pounds of spots.
Yeah.
If that. So Colby Goforth is taught me more about that stuff than anybody could have ever taught me.
Well, that's what makes a good team.
Oh yeah.
You
So
know.
he got me out there one day. They had the LVS 32 back then, and we went out there and we caught some fish on it and just started getting into it. And it wasn't long they got the 34, and we realized that this is where we're going to make our money.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of people don't agree with it. A lot of people call it cheating.
No.
Randy Blockett. But
Shame.
love you, Randy Blockett.
Oh,
But
Lord.
he
Lord. Don't throw a bone. It's overrated.
I just
Oh, Lord.
but it's just it's our best way we can figure out, like, especially the fish that don't get the pressure. I think that's the number one thing. A lot of these fish you can find out here aren't getting the same pressure that a lot of these brush pile fish are getting.
So Colby said that, one of the brush piles that y'all fished, he knew about. Did y'all utilize any of your mapping and stuff to just kind of go look and see at places, and say, well, maybe there might be something here. Let's go check this out.
I had a few brush piles that I had marked on my map, and we just went around checking them, just seeing what was on it.
Yeah.
And just went from there.
How let me ask you this. How fast did these fish bite when y'all kind of figured out what the deal was?
If you throw at them, more than likely it was first or second
Okay.
cast.
All right. So that's typical for you guys that are listening. That's kind of
If they're
typical bite for July.
That's the kind of
If
fish
they're ready
you
to
want
eat, then
Listen, for those of you guys who may be trying to learn how to, to utilize your forward facing sonar to catch fish, no matter what lake you're fishing. Listen, you guys have heard me say this before, and you guys have heard other people say it. Don't spend too much time on a place. They're going to eat when they want to eat.
It's all about timing.
It's all about, exactly. Colby said it best. It's all about timing. It's not some big science as to, well, maybe it needs to be a slightly different presentation of a bait, or we need to make a slight different.
If they want to eat,
listen, if they want to eat, they're going to come up and eat.
Yeah.
They're going to come up and eat. All you got to do is figure out, is it on the surface, is it subsurface, or is it well below the surface? That's all you've got to figure out. What will get them to trigger the reaction to bite? And obviously you guys figured that out. So with that being said, going into it, right here.
We also did figure out that if they was in the 10 to 15 to 20 range, just let that fluke sink until you watch the fish. You can see them on live scope. You can watch them nose up. As soon as they nose up, you just start working.
Is it a fluke or a jerk shad?
Both.
Either one.
611. Whichever one we had the right color. I mean,
that's right.
Okay, so one of the things that Colby was going crazy about that he kind of figured out, it's kind of goes against what we just said, but it might just be a confidence thing, because confidence is a really big thing when you're fishing. But
100%.
changing 100%. It's just if you don't believe in the bait you're throwing,
you're not going to get bit.
You're not going to get bit because you're not going to fish it right. You're not going to fish it to its fullest potential. And so we got out there, and the fish would kind of, like, we had a lot of fish that would just rocket right up to it and stop and nose back down and just leave. And so when we'd see that, we'd change color just to throw something different at them. And the difference, like, it might just be the way we're working it, but it could definitely be a difference in, like, the color, and even, like, we found with a jerk shad. A jerk shad is so much softer than a fluke. Like, it just collapses. And so if you get a fluke and they come up there and they swipe at it, and I don't know that it's that big of a difference, but just the softness of this, I'm sure it gets better hookups. And it's just, Zoom flukes get bit, but these just a little bit softer and just gives you a little bit more edge on the fish, gives you that much more of a chance to really catch those fish. But
so let's talk about that here. Let's talk about your setup. So what all colors did you use, if y'all want to give that away, and what was your exact setup? Y'all got a rod over here behind us over here.
No,
what was the setup? Which one of y'all want to go over through kind of your setup? Let's talk about the rod, reel, line, whatever, and then hook. Let's get all the way down to it. Let's give these guys some information that are watching.
Rod coming through.
Hung.
Right. Rod and reel does not matter.
Okay.
But there's two things that really mean a lot when you're fishing it.
All right, so let's get into that.
There you go. And that's pretty much
You
my
want to talk
setup
about it?
the entire tournament.
Okay.
Just a regular 3/0 worm hook.
A 3/0. Okay. Braid to fluoro. What pound fluoro you are running?
8 top set.
8-pound tot
And
seed.
you're running, looks like that's Cast X12 braid, isn't
It
it, right?
is. Yes.
What pound test is that? 50, 20?
12.
12.
Okay, 12.
That
Listen, a lot of people have been throwing that Cast X12 braid. I got spooled
Oh,
up
I
on one of
love
my
it.
rods, and it casts
It
really, really well.
slings.
a lot
Yeah.
of people like we've been
Especially
throwing.
this
If
lightweight
you don't,
braid.
if you're running braid, not necessarily really so much, I'm going to say, on a shaky head, but if you're going to throw a fluke on a spinning rod, I think having a swim bait or a fluke, I think having that X12 braid,
Get you that extra
it gets you that extra bit,
distance,
and it's
yeah.
a game changer. Distance is so important when you're doing this herring bite stuff. Getting a bait out there as far as you can is probably one of the most important factors to whether or not you get bit or don't get bit. Colby's going to put a hole through our light here in a second. So, David Haltower said, "Give us your GPS coordinates." So,
Fish North Georgia. That's where we're at.
Fish North Georgia, that's where they're at. He said. So,
with the line, one of the big things.
so what kind of line was it?
So
The leader.
Okay. So I'll talk about the braid. So
Yeah, go ahead.
we had been thrown before cast came out. We threw Dyewood J braid all the time, and that's really all we threw.
It's really good.
It's a really great line, especially for like shaky heads and stuff. I mean, just a good rigid line. It's 8X. We throw the 8X kind of smooth, but it's smooth until you throw that cast stuff. But you can get some good distance out of it. It's a lot better than like 4X or 5-strand braid. But once you change, I've heard Jeff Nail say it too. Once you change over to cast and you get accustomed to it,
it's hard to go back.
when you pick up something with J braid or any other kind of braid, it just feels like trash.
Mm-hmm.
We had a bunch of rods on the deck with J braid and stuff on them because we didn't have many reels spooled up with it, and we had like 2 rods with cast on it, and that's like the only rods we were using because we could get it out there so much farther. And a lot of times those fish would be moving towards you, or if they were moving towards you, you needed to get them as soon as they got out there. So you wanted to hit them. If they were at 110 out on the graph, you got to hit them at 90.
The amount of
and let
time
it
with the
sink down.
seconds that these can take is extremely important.
And to get that bait out there, it's
And if they hear it splash,
they're going to turn around.
Yeah.
They're going to turn around and look at it. Yeah, exactly. So, Epic Boys fishing their Cast X12 braid is the best in the game. How far? Good to see you, Nick. Appreciate you watching. We always enjoy your content and everything that you put up. Y'all doing a fantastic job. You and your son.
Killing it, Lanier.
Yeah,
they were killing it at Hartwell.
Need to get you up here on the show one day. We'll get that worked out sometime. So I'm sure that'll be fun. So, but yeah, no. Between them and Ryan Hanks and Jeff Nail, I think the Cast X12 braid has been, it's definitely a game changer. Yeah, exactly. I think it's definitely a game changer. If you don't have it, seriously, I mean, it's really, really good. It's really, really good.
Stuff you won't go back.
No,
and
you won't.
It comes in like 300 something yard spools.
It does.
And I was filling up one of my reels, and I put backer on it. Because I didn't know, I really didn't see how much was on the thing, and I could have filled the whole reel. It was a 300 or 3,000 size spinning reel. I could have filled the whole thing up with braid easy. It's got a lot. You're going to pay for it. You're going to pay $50 for it, but for 300 yards of the best braid on the market, it's 100% worth it.
So let me ask you this: so that particular rod right there, how fresh is that braid on there?
That braid, I got it last week.
Okay, so you put it on there pretty fresh. Yeah. One of the reels that I have spooled up with the Cast X12 braid, I've had it on since March, and I have not taken it off. I have not took mine off yet.
It's kind of funny.
It's still good today as it was back in March.
I have a braid Cast X on mine. From what?
It's from forever
ago. November
when it first came out. Then.
And so we got it on there.
Yeah,
I was scared to death to throw it, and so Colby. We were at fishing Lanier one day, and they got a wind knot way back in his reel, and there was and he was going to pull it loose. He wet it and pulled it, and it just popped. And so we're fishing 12, so I mean it's going to pop every now and then.
Yeah.
So he's like, "Dang, I don't want to lose all that line. So I got it and tied me a double uni knot right in the middle of the braid. Just for the time being.
And I ain't took it off.
And we just
It's
fished the national championship. I got a 4.5 pound largemouth on that thing. I was scared to death that knot was going to come loose.
Oh, this is that rod that has a double uni knot.
I was going to dive in and grab that line.
That's funny.
Look for that high vis out there.
That's funny. That's funny. So yeah. So but that is definitely having distance, having length with your cast is definitely something for you guys that may or may not know this or understand it. It's really, really important. One of the good things too that I can say about throwing a bunch of different type of flukes, the jerk shad also has got a little bit of heft to it.
Yeah,
and it helps. I think it's a little bit heavier than a Zoom fluke.
Yeah,
to be honest with you. So you get just a little bit more out of it, especially throwing it on a spin rod like you guys were doing. So that's a good thing. I think that really helped y'all. We had a comment up there from Mr. Ron Swinford. Good to see you again, buddy. He talking about the 400 boats. So back to that whole situation with 400 boats. For you guys, for what you guys figured out, I guess the 400 boat thing didn't really affect y'all any. But I could see where did it. Let me ask you this. I'm going to rephrase this. Did the 400 boat plus boat thing affect y'all mentally in terms of, oh crap, I hope when we get to our first spot, there ain't nobody sitting on it.
The first day, we was kind of thinking that, but once we figured out what they was doing, it didn't really bother us as bad.
Mm-hmm.
They were running the brush. So there's actually one of the teams in the top 12.
Yeah.
They
was fishing in the same area.
They had a rat boat, so we knew every time when they were there, and they would pull up on a brush pile and they'd catch fish and they'd leave. They go to the next one, they'd catch fish, and we knew they weren't fishing the way we were fishing exactly. What we didn't think,
so it wouldn't hurt our fish.
It wouldn't hurt our fishing, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like, Emil Wagner said it on the show. I think whenever he was on here last after he won the All-American. When you see somebody on your spot, you can't get mad because that tears you down mentally.
It does.
So you kind of just gotta move past it. You've got plenty of brush piles on the lake, plenty of spots. If you don't, then go find them. The Lake Lanier's huge. Lake Hartwell's giant.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Hartwell's huge.
Hartwell's absolutely
If
giant.
If you've never fished Hartwell, I don't think you really understand
56,000 acres.
Yeah, it's a
Lanier's only 38.
God, it's 38,000 is Lanier, and Hartwell basically double that.
It's pushing it. Yeah.
It's pushing being double that. So yeah, Adam W. What Nick said there, it's a Lanier Baits jerk shads. We sell those here in the store. We have them here. If you want to come pick some up, we've got the FZN H2Os and the pearls and the whites.
FZN H2O.
Is that which one were y'all throwing? What did y'all change colors at all throughout the day?
Yeah, the whole day. Like we'd break off a fluke or something, and we didn't feel like getting that same color. We'd grab any pack laying on the deck and just throw it out there to them, see if they like it. If they didn't like it, we could change back.
Mm-hmm.
But like especially when that sun got up, I don't really know if it might just be another one of those confidence things. But I mean, that FCN H2O's got that little sparkle in it, and
it looks chromy.
It's got that chrome sparkle in it. We ran out of.
Which I will say, I did catch a good one on a crazy chrome.
We ran out of crazy chromes on the last day, and so we ran to the Hartwell. I forget what
it's
the
that store right there by Anders.
Right there by
Hartwell Marine.
Yeah. And so we pulled up there, and they weren't open yet. But there was a guy there. I think he was the owner. And I said, "Please, can I come inside? We have one color. We're leading the tournament. We really need to go in there." He said, "Just make it quick." He was super nice, and he let us go in there. And I searched all over that place, could not find any crazy chromes. But I mean, we ran out of them. But I mean, throwing this, it might have just been confidence. Throwing this, caught them just as good.
Mm-hmm. So that's. I mean, confident, like you said earlier, confidence is key. Confidence is real important. So you guys had it squared away. So day one, what'd y'all end up with?
11-1.
And where were y'all sitting?
7th.
So y'all were like, okay, so going into day one, after the end of day one, y'all feeling pretty good.
Still got to hunker down, though.
Yeah. Mentally, what did you guys think about going in from day one, going into day two? Because day two was y'all's big move day, really.
We saw the amount of fish that we had at our place
because
was unreal.
We run there on the practice day. We ran there, hooked that 5 or 6, whatever it was, and left. I mean, it wouldn't. What was it? 50 yards that we checked.
Mm-hmm. And to have that feeling, to know that it's got the potential, and on day one we made such a huge jump in practice on the last day, like absolutely huge jump in just one spot. And so to have that in your mind on day one was a great confidence boost. And we went out there and went fishing, and that's one of the biggest things. Sometimes when you get down, if you got a little something that they might be on, just take it and run with it. Because, I mean, if you go out there and grind all day long, you're going to figure out stuff that you didn't figure out on practice. You got to make tournament day adjustments. You got to do all kinds of stuff to catch them on tournament day. And on day one, we only had that one spot. We had that one little lead that we knew we could probably catch them there. And so we had them that on day one, and we saw the amount of fish that were there. And so day two, I mean, I wasn't really stressed. I mean, I was nervous, but I knew that we could probably go out there and catch them again if they were still there and still biting, which is a big thing with herring lakes. But
yeah,
we went out there and we caught them better than the day before. We just found those good largemouth bites. We caught 30+ fish every day, even on the last day. But the last day, they just weren't the largemouth that we needed. We only caught like 1, 2 3/4 pound largemouth. And that's the only keeper largemouth we had.
Okay, right there with Cooper McDonald.
Cooper McDonald got a question right there. He said, about how many spots did y'all fish a day?
About one.
About one.
No,
Yeah.
but for real, we had a couple brush piles around.
Yeah.
That we fished, but we caught them little spots on.
Mm-hmm.
But our big largemouth that we caught was on what, a half a mile, 3/4 mile stretch.
So
if that.
So I think we really ran that one little spot all day long, and we'd go up and down it and up and down it. It was stupid that the amount of trails. The graph was colored completely red from where we had went back and forth and back and forth and back and forth on that one point. We'd go there, and then we'd crank up and we'd idle a half mile, go to a brush pile we had over there, give those fish a break for a minute, come back, get on some schools, get on some of those trains, a big largemouth, and go at it again.
Yeah. So, Cooper, we're actually gonna bring you back up here a little bit later on in the show.
Cooper's a scope master.
We're actually gonna bring Cooper and several other people up here back on later on the show, because we got a real juicy topic that we're going to kind of really dive into here in about 30 minutes. So
we need to get Cooper up here one day.
He's been up here. We're gonna have to get him back up here sometime.
He needs to come on live. Well,
he needs to get back up here. We'll get him back up here sometime.
I'll be back there listening.
Yeah. So you're gonna already have a peanut gallery for you, Cooper, next time you come. So
Cooper,
be mentally prepared for that.
I'll get some lessons.
Get some lessons from him.
Cooper beat us in the GHSF this year.
Mm-hmm.
That boy is tough to beat on the near. Well, I think we beat him one tournament. We were right behind him. We were back, I don't know, 5 or something points. But that boy is an absolute hammer.
Within what, 2 points maybe?
Listen, we're gonna get into that. Don't fill his head full of it. We're gonna fill his head full of some other stuff later, Cooper. So make sure you're still watching here a little bit later. But we're gonna talk about that, because that's next topic that we're gonna talk about is really juicy. So day 2, weigh in. I saw it. I was freaking ecstatic when I saw y'all drop that down.
I knew what we had. I knew we had more than we had the day one.
Right.
But I didn't know it was enough to take the lead.
Yeah.
I figured it would be what, second, third.
So what was it day 2? It was 12, wasn't
12
it?
pounds.
12 even.
We had 23-1.
3 fish.
23-1 with 6 fish.
So for those of you guys who don't know, in case you didn't know, I've seen some comments where people were talking about the weights were down on Hartwell. No, the weights were not down. These guys, the guys that y'all finished third, the guys in front of y'all and in first place, y'all caught 9 fish. Y'all weighed in 9 fish, and 9 fish having 20 plus. I mean, what was y'all's final total day weight?
30 for the whole tournament.
We had 714. So
it was 30.
30-15,
Listen,
31-15.
No, we had 713. So it's 30-14.
Listen, 30 pounds, 9 fish. I mean,
it's pretty good.
Hats off to y'all. Seriously, that's impressive.
I'll
really is
say-
impressive. 3 fish.
We'll say yes, but
I'll really say like
for 5 fish a day, we had 17 and a half, 18 every day.
yeah,
Mhm.
we had
Besides the last day.
besides the last day we had 35 pounds easy, 5 fish for 2 days
Yeah.
easy. Because we caught multiple threes, but we couldn't cull them out.
Mhm.
We were catching those 3.5 pounders, and we just had that one 3.5.
Yeah.
We just couldn't cull out.
Mhm.
But I'll really say it's like it's really honoring to go out there. I got to give the glory to God because we ran into some fish because. I mean, there were some great fishermen out there. Buddy Benson and B.J. Collins, Peyton Dunn and Gavin Guy, Hayden Seabold, tons of others.
Storm Clark,
Yeah. Cole Griggs and Chandler Kane, and then
all great fishermen.
I think it was Jacob Janning and them. They were out there, and those are all hammers. There's a bunch of others fishing for Georgia and a bunch of other states. And we really ran into them because those are some great fishermen. And I'll give the glory to God for giving us the chance to go out there and really run into them because I know that we're up against some great fishermen.
A lot of those boys you just named off, they're from the great state of Georgia as well.
Yeah, all of them were.
Yeah.
All them
are Georgia
qualified.
boys.
So, David Hightower, real quick, was a 3 fish limit? Yes, that's what we just got done talking about. It was a 3 fish all 3 days of the tournament, being so hot. Just 3 fish tournament. I guess nobody really had any issues keeping their fish alive.
We really didn't. We didn't have any try to die on us.
3 fish is pretty easy to keep alive.
They changed it. I'm kind of glad they changed it.
Right.
Because there would have been a lot of dead fish. Probably would have hurt the fishery a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I kind of wish it would have been 5 fish.
Because you never know what them boys were catching.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They could have had 15 a day.
Right.
Yeah.
17,
One
18.
thing with the 3 fish tournament, everybody knows one big fish.
It will win you the
everything.
tournament.
There was
You
the
catch
team.
an 8-pounder and it'll shoot you way
The
up. the
team
leaderboard.
going into second or going in second after day 2 that was behind us was throwing a buzzbait all day long.
Yeah.
And they caught a 7-pounder the first or second day. So I mean
That's
they were throwing a buzzbait all day from what I know.
That's covering a lot.
That's covering a lot. So to have that one 7-pounder means a lot more in a 3 fish than it does in a 5 fish.
It does. It does.
Just the last day, we just couldn't find that big bite that we really needed.
If you have a bad day with 3 fish, it's really, really hard to come back.
Tough.
Yeah. I personally, I've won a couple of 3 fish tournaments on Lanier, not tournaments on Lanier, where I wouldn't have won the tournament. I would have had 6 pounds, 3 fish. I got lucky and caught like a 5-6 pounder, So I know one time I caught a 653, had 11 pounds, but I had 2 peckerhead spots to go with it, and it was just, just luck. I mean, that's what it a little boils down to is a little bit, but regardless though, to be able to do what y'all did, 3 fish, I mean, that would have been interesting to see, if it was a 5 fish or if it was take it even a step further, if it was an MLF style format. How would things have changed big time? Because you don't
I don't even know.
You don't. I know.
I don't know
Y'all,
what
they
the other
did.
boys were catching, but like we caught a lot of fish.
We caught 30 a day. at
Well,
least.
it's another thing with it's got to be a pound or however much.
2
it is.
pounds.
2 pounds.
2
yeah.
pounds.
Which we probably.
Yeah, we still probably
at
would have
least
had
20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
15, 20 a day.
Yeah.
Except for the last day. The last day would have really.
Oh yeah, that would have hurt us a bunch.
Yeah. But that's just how fishing is.
No, so the second day, Adam. So the second day, their 2 day total through that was 23 pounds of 3
with
fish. If y'all had
Oh,
23 pounds of 3 fish,
We
my
taking the
by
trophy
God,
home.
it would have been woo. That'd been way up there.
Spiky.
Yeah, it'd been. Oh man, we got to figure out how to call us 8-pounder.
They could have stayed in bed on Saturday.
Yeah, exactly.
I would have went to the
probably could
ramp.
have,
I don't
so.
care. I don't
I
care
would've-
what we do. If I had
You'd have-
23
I'll go
pounds,
out
I'm
there
going to the
fishing.
ramp.
Y'all have
Go
pulled
find
the.
me a
Y'all have pulled
cheeseburger.
the. I'm about to say y'all have pulled the Timmy Horton and bought a pizza and have it delivered to the ramp.
I've done that before.
Have you?
Yes. 100%.
Listen to him.
We
He's
were
done
we
that
were fishing.
before.
At,
Me
we
and
were
my
fishing at
dad's.
Duckett Mill one day, and
Yeah.
we were camping there. We just call in one of Duckett Mill boat ramp and go pick it up.
Me and my dad's done that before.
To be
Get
young.
hungry, we call one of the local pizza places and tell them to bring it to Duckett Mill boat ramp.
To be young again.
I mean, you didn't have a cell phone when you were young to call for a pizza to bring to Toto Creek boat ramp.
Not really, no. Not really. Not. When I started fishing pretty hardcore, I didn't have a cell phone until I was like 16. So, and even then, my cell phone was like a little Nokia. I remember when I got a Razor. Y'all don't even know anything about a Razor. I remember when I got a Razor. I thought I was hot shit, man.
That's where Cooper catches all his fish is Toto Creek. Oh, not Carolina Rick's Bill. That's what he says.
Absolutely.
Carolina Rick's.
I mean, he whacks him on every time. So.
He does. He
Ain't no fish in Toto Creek.
Ain't no fish up there. So, all right. So going into the last day. I know y'all already kind of said it earlier in the show, but nerve level.
About to puke.
To puke.
I
mean, y'all are in freaking first place going into the last day. That's nerve wracking.
It's the amount of pressure was crazy.
Yeah.
Colby was. I think Colby was worse off than me. Colby
yes,
was
100%.
I was getting bad.
If I would have puked, I would have been fine. I wanted to puke, to be honest with you, just so I'd feel better.
You should have. You should just lean over the side of the boat over there across Chad's lap, just. So
there was people out there. It's kind of crazy because you're on Bassmaster.com looking at all the elites holding up their baits that they've done good in the tournament, and they came up and they were taking pictures of the baits we were catching them on. Crazy to even think about being there. Like just an honor to even be in the top 12. But to be leading it, just so much pressure. It's unreal. But I think there was a storm the night before.
Yeah, so let's talk about everything. So let's do this in two parts here. Let's talk about leading up to it. Y'all were sick to y'all's stomach, nervous as crap.
Yes.
But let's talk about that. Let's talk about this because I had a tournament Saturday, and I was up at already 1:30, and I looked up at the weather, looked for y'all, and I was kind of looking around, and I looked back at the weather over there, and I was like, ooh. Uh-oh.
Yep.
Talk about that a little bit.
So right after the weigh-in on day 2, we was on our way back to the room, whatever, and it started raining. And it was lightning, thunder. And
it was hard rain too.
It's hard rain.
Yeah.
And them largemouth, they just scatter.
Mm-hmm.
That lightning gets them.
Yeah, people don't realize what thunder
them.
And lightning does to largemouth.
Mm-hmm.
They don't realize that they'll scatter and they'll hide.
They're like a dog.
Yeah, they are. They really are. They'll get the spots. Don't really seem to care.
Yeah, spots don't care. They eat.
Not as much, at least.
Yeah, not as bad. But it. Going into that, did you go in that morning, sickness aside, you're just like, we're gonna go back, we're gonna try to do our best to do the exact same thing again.
I wasn't as worried about the storm.
Yeah, I didn't.
I was the overcast because of 2 days before, completely bluebird skies,
and 95 degrees,
95 degrees, and very little wind
down your butt, everything. It's awful.
Oh Lord, y'all crazy!
But
y'all fishing in the swamp,
fishing in the swamp is exactly what it was. So.
But the overcast, I think, really, I don't know 100% what it did to them. I know, from what I understand, the herring. I don't think thread fins like the sun as much. They try to shade away from the sun, get in the shade.
You're right.
But I think the herring kind of like the sun more.
They do.
From what they get up and feed on the plankton and all that up on the surface of the water, and the little pods of herring that we could find, just little bitty blips of herring we could find. That's where those fish would really be keying in on. That's where you could get them to look at a bait. Because then, it's like when you pull up to a.
Well, you're not competing with 10,000 herring. You're competing with 100.
Yeah, it's like ditch fishing at Lanier in winter. You pull up to a ditch, if there's bait absolutely everywhere, you might as well just pull out and leave, or go find the fish that aren't on the bait at that moment. Because why would you eat? What's your analogy? Porterhouse steak analogy?
Yeah, porterhouse steak. A big herring, or like going up and eating porterhouse steak, or going to a China buffet.
So why would you
pack yourself full of Mongolian beef and porterhouse steak all night?
Why would you want to eat a Kitek that smells like squid when you got a porterhouse steak right in front of you?
That's right. I don't eat squid, period.
No.
So I mean, I
don't think them spots eat squid either.
I don't think they do either, but they sure do like them Kiteks sometimes. They definitely do. So
if there was freshwater squid, Spots would eat them.
Spots would eat them.
Yeah,
Spots would eat a leather boot if you drug across it.
I get behind that.
In the words of Brock Turner, the spot will follow a tin can full of rocks.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of getting them to eat it. I mean, spots
well
are
put.
spots are the craziest fish that there is. Largemouth are so much more finicky.
They're picky.
Those Hartwell largemouth are
And lazy.
and lazy. Those Hartwell largemouth, the Herring largemouth, those are the kind of largemouth I like because that's a lot more of our style.
Y'all need
Yeah.
to go to Murray.
I want to go to Murray.
Y'all need to go to Murray. Murray, y'all would flip. Y'all would flip over Murray. So overcast conditions last day. Get to your first spot. You feeling pretty good? How are you feeling?
We feel good. I mean, we start catching them pretty much right off the bat, like we've been doing the last few days.
Right.
We just couldn't ever get the bigger bites.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, them little 12-inchers eat us up.
And for those of you guys who don't know, a catchable size fish that you can weigh in a tournament on Hartwell compared to Lanier, all across the board, 12 inches.
You ain't gonna win a national tournament with a 12-inch
No.
fish.
No, you were not. No, you were not.
We didn't have a 3-pounder. It was all 2s and 2s
Right.
to 3s.
Right. So did y'all do like what I do? Did y'all stick to your guns all day, or did you try to make a change? What did y'all try to do to try to figure something different out?
So one of the main things is we had saw the amount of fish that were there, and a lot of the times when we would be out there, you wouldn't get a good largemouth bite until the first day. We didn't get that really, really good, like that 4-pound largemouth bite until the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
like very end of the day. It was like
We was catching
4 o'clock.
3.5.
Yeah, we were catching those 3.5s, but I was hoping that what would happen is it'd be like you're catching the 2.5s on the last day, and then you catch that 3.5, maybe 4 at the end of the day. But it just never came. It's so hard to leave a spot like that you see the fish and you know they're there. You just don't know if they're those big largemouth. It's kind of that thing you gotta get it figured out on the scope and really find those bigger size fish, those bigger caliber fish. But
And we
found them.
I'm not joking, like not exaggerating. We lost 15, 20 fish at least.
It was ridiculous. You throw out there, we had a camera crew on us, not in the boat, but over in the boat by
Filming
us.
Mm-hmm.
We was
And,
mic'd up and everything.
And so Colby's out there throwing his, and
you'd
they
see
were
him
just
come up like you're
they'd see
supposed
him
to.
coming up. He'd set the hook just like we've been doing all week. It wasn't a nerves thing at that point. We were catching our fish like we'd been catching them all week. I don't think
You
it was
get
nerves
3
or
or 4
anything.
cranks and it'd pull off.
Yeah, it just
So they weren't getting the bait in
the
good.
bait good.
Which we talked to the boys at weigh-in. And they said the exact same thing.
But them boys, the first place team caught them like we did.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. You know, you're getting through that. So for those of you guys who don't know, the team who ended up winning the entire tournament, son of Marty Robinson. For those of you guys who may or might know, he's a professional fisherman. He's from over there. Hartwell is his home lake. That was where he was. That's where he grew up at. That's where he fished. You know, him and Casey Ashley, they're running buddies together on the professional tour. You know, it's first of all, you know, how does that feel to know that you're up there? You know, y'all are ahead of him going in the last day of a pro son who you know has an indispensable amount of knowledge to give to them. You know,
Just builds the nerves even more.
So that's one thing a lot of people criticize about bass fishing or
Mhm.
high school bass fishing.
Yeah.
Is the boat captain.
Mhm.
A lot of people really they're like boat captain. They get so angry over people having good boat captains, and that's just one more obstacle you really got to get around, because people are gonna have good fishermen as fathers and mentors and stuff that you may not
100%.
have.
100%.
And that's just one more thing you really gotta just become a better
Okay.
fisherman. You
Also,
can't use it as an excuse. You gotta use it to build on. You gotta use it to get better as a fisherman to get up to that level. You can't criticize somebody for having a dad that's good at fishing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not bashing Chad or Jason, but we pretty much tell them where to go.
Right.
Yeah, we make our own decisions on the
So
way.
y'all have good listeners as boat captains,
Yeah.
is what you're saying. So
We got good drivers.
good boat drivers, good net men.
They're the looks of the
They can
whole
net
operation.
fish, right?
They sit back there
In
and
some
look
of the
pretty.
tournaments.
Huh?
In some tournaments, I
In
think.
some tournaments, and this one they couldn't.
No.
This one all I could do is drive the boat. Can't do nothing else.
No.
Y'all had to manage the fish.
Yeah, we cull, we net,
Y'all
we
do everything.
tie on baits. We can't.
That's good. Y'all need to
Yeah,
learn. Y'all
I
definitely
think
need
that's
to.
how it needs
I
to
tie,
be.
Yeah.
I tie 2 knots. It's my leader knot and a Palomar. That's all I tie.
Alberto.
And it works.
Alberto, baby. Alberto. That's the way. That's my leader knot too. So, that with all that though, I always say, and I think y'all did, I think y'all did from the sound of it. I think y'all did a very, very, very good job of making it. It wasn't you against other people. It was you against the fish.
That's how it needs to be.
And you're right. That is exactly the way that it needs to be. It needs to be you against the fish. You're not fishing against me. You're not fishing against Paul. You're not fishing against anybody else. It don't amount to a hill of beans what I do until the weigh-in.
Mm-hmm.
What y'all got to do is what y'all can control during that 8 hours. What do y'all want to do during that 8 hours?
Control what
That's
you
what
can
I got.
control, and just you got to be at peace with the rest of it. Because
Hope the good Lord blesses you.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's all you can do.
no, that's 100% correct. These kids, these 2 boys right here, we've got to know them over the past couple of years. I know I have, and that their heads screwed on straight and tight. They got some Loctite on.
Not his.
He's good boys. They're good dudes. So, but with everything going on with all this, with this whole tournament, are y'all looking forward to getting back to it again next year? Because you got to qualify again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I mean,
and it's nothing's a guarantee.
a little break's nice, to get.
I think we got
right
6
again.
weeks. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, it's not much of a break.
A little break, yeah.
It's not much. But
The one thing we got to really focus on this year for BASS is we got a lot of largemouth lakes, not herring largemouth lakes.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got Clark's Hill.
We're not good on largemouth.
That's the one thing we got to really figure out is how to really get those shad eating largemouth, but not necessarily just shad. I mean, brim eaters and crawfish eaters and stuff. I mean, you can catch.
That's not our cup of tea.
We can catch those fish, but we're not gonna win any tournaments or be too crazy unless we just run into something just
that pops out at us.
You got some. You got a little. And y'all are, like I said, y'all are 16 going on 17, and it's just y'all still have that. Y'all got plenty of room to grow, and you got plenty of room to learn. So mentally going into this with talking about the largemouth predominant lakes, have you already seen the schedule for next year? Is it out already?
They told us at the meeting, but I don't think
I can't remember what it was.
Okay, so you don't really know kind of exactly.
All I know is
where you're
Lanier's in
going.
March. That's what I'm excited about.
Lanier's in March. When in March?
I'm kind of excited about that in March.
When. I'm pretty sure it's mid-March.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm kind of
Mid to
excited
late.
about it in March, but at the same time, everybody can catch fish at Lanier in March. So
It is easier.
a lot easier.
to
not-
catch fish.
If
It's
you
not
know
one of
more
those-
about Lanier, then it's easier for you two to catch.
There's some great advice right there from Ron. Go up to Rocky Mountain and practice some. You can learn to catch those finicky largies, and Rocky Mountain is absolutely fantastic fishery
I'm really
to
wanting
be able to learn how to catch those gizzard shad eaters. But you're going to be able to get a little bit more practice on that if you turn away from the herring eaters on Lanier and start focusing more on those gizzard shad.
It's hard to do.
It is very hard to do. But
It's hard to do.
The
when
gizzard shad population on Lanier is absolutely getting insane. They're getting insane. A lot of my brim holes this summer are absolutely no good because the amount of gizzard shad that I'm finding in the back of some of these pockets is getting unreal. And I say gizzard shads, they're skipjack. They're skipjacks, what they are. They got the yellow fins and stuff on the bottom of them. You can see them. And some of them are 10, 12 inches long.
Good play your big old
I'm
swim
pretty
bait.
sure I caught one
Mhm.
a few years back.
You probably have.
On
They've been
Kitech, and it was.
they're huge and they stink.
Oh
God,
yeah,
they
that
stink.
was it.
We
yeah.
saw one at Hartwell. We were out there riding around at our spot. I think it was the last day, and there was one up laying on the surface, and it wasn't no herring, it wasn't no thread fin.
Y'all probably pulled up
It's
to it
big.
thinking, look at that dead crappie.
Yeah, big old thing. But
And
I
also-
almost got out the big swim bait rod, but I couldn't make myself do it.
And also, there was a lot of alligator gar or long nose, whatever
Yes.
they're called,
So
whatever they
not
are.
long nose,
What
not
did
alligator
you
gar.
get you, boy?
Spotted
Long
gar,
nose.
long nose gar.
whatever. it
You
is.
know-
Long nose gar.
You want to know a fun fact? This is no shit. you know what I caught not this past weekend, but last weekend on a slick stick? About a 4 foot long nose gar. I spied that thing on live scope and I threw at it, and that thing bit. And when I leaned into it, I said, "Mama," and then it started doing that thing that gar. Have y'all caught gar? Have you caught gar? Then it started doing that thing where it starts coming towards the surface at an exorbitant amount of speed. And then by then you see it and you're like, oh my God, don't break my pole. Don't lose my base. Please just come on.
We were at the number one thing. I absolutely hated La Crosse, Wisconsin. I never want to
go back to it ever again.
I never want to go north to fish for largemouth. I've been there 2 times,
my first and my last.
It's rough. Don't like
first and my last. I'm not going back.
I never want to fish a wing dam as long as I live. But the one thing we learned up there
is what a gar
looks like on live scope, and we saw a lot of gar at Hartwell, and we'd point out there to them.
We'd see it
at about 100 foot. You couldn't tell, but once they get up a little bit closer, that mark starts looking different, and you know it's not a bass. We don't even waste our time. We would have wasted our time on a lot of big marks thinking they're big old largemouth.
Yeah.
They're just gar.
No, they're just gar.
That's a great lesson.
We knew it was gar. We turn away and go look for a bass.
Yeah. Oh, damn gar. Turn the thing away. We ain't fishing no gar tournament, that's for sure. So
get old treble hook and snag them.
So, you've got, and I will say this, for this, you guys have done what y'all have done and y'all are going to continue to do, I believe 100% with continue on what y'all are doing. So you have an entire, basis of knowledge around here that can really help you guys out. And I'm sure anyone, be willing to, definitely thought some advice on some things to help you guys out. So, with that being said though, before we get into this next real deep topic that we're going to talk about for a little bit, as we are almost halfway through the show, anything at all from this past weekend that y'all would change at all? Anything?
No.
Good answer.
Because I feel like we could have probably made some changes the last day. But no, because I wouldn't trade that experience for the world.
Good answer.
That was it hurts not to win it. It did. It hurt bad not to win it, knowing you're that close and you had that many fish
up on stage, and
they've got it.
Yeah.
One of the biggest reliefs that I had all week was I was about to throw up right there, sitting in line. It was a trailered weigh in. We were sitting there in line.
I heard 12 pounds and whatever.
We heard 12 pounds for a total of 33 pounds, something 3 days. It was just
killed it.
I mean, it killed all the. It hurt, but at the same time, it was like, well, we didn't win it, but I mean, we've still got a chance at second. We didn't get second. We got third place out of 481 boats. I can't complain at all. I'm not complaining. I'm thanking the Lord for what we got.
That's good. You got a good mentality on that. When you fish in a tournament like that, some people may disagree with me, some may not, but I believe, me personally going into that, if I was in y'all's situation, I'm going to go in and I'm going to die on the horse. I'm either going to win or I'm going to die on the horse that I rode in on, because that's hard to turn around and say, yeah, well, we caught 12 pounds yesterday, but let's do something completely different.
Mm-hmm.
If you do something completely different and it doesn't work out in your mind with what you believe was happening and what you believe you could do, you're going to leave that event thinking, damn, we should have done something different. Yeah. Man, we should have just stuck to our guns, loaded our pistols, and go with them. And
we stuck to our guns. We fished exactly how we knew we could catch them, but they just weren't. It wasn't the same bite as before. I
mean, we went around, we saw wolf packs, and they'd come up, whatever, and they'd come up there and just go straight back down when it hit it. But some of them, they would actually come up and hit it, but you'd catch them 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds.
Yeah, spots. We saw the bigger marks, but the small ones would eat it 70% of the time on that last day.
So, I'm gonna ask you this before we get under here in just a few minutes. So, based upon what you guys are describing, this one spot that you're talking about that was very large, but you described basically saying that you don't know how many fish were there.
There was a bunch.
You don't think y'all were kind of guarding that spot, I guess, to a certain extent, because y'all weren't really going much anywhere.
We weren't going anywhere, but that spot was big enough, and we can't guard it. It wasn't our spot to guard.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, people pulled up, and they fished it, and we went back and caught fish behind them.
Yeah.
It's just they were fishing for different fish. It's how they were fishing it. You can't let it bother you. We had this one group of people on a pontoon boat. It was a grandpa and a grandma.
And that was second day too, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was second day.
Yeah.
And they pulled up literally 30 yards away from us.
Mm-hmm.
And they sat down, turned off the motor.
Which
we had fish all over the place.
We was catching them wide open.
But the only thing you can do when you get in a situation like that, turn the trolling motor up, just go a little bit, or crank the big motor up if you're fishing a brush pile or something. Leave, because these people, they don't know any. Them people did not know any better, because they didn't bat an eye. They didn't acknowledge us. They were just out there having a good time. Just
spend
boaters,
time with their family.
Uneducated boaters out there with their family. You can't
get mad at.
Can't get mad at, especially in a tournament. I mean, you're fishing the tournament, leave, come back. Especially somebody, if it's a tournament fisherman, it's different, because they should know better.
Mm-hmm.
But people like that, I mean, running in between you and the point, going over like 5 foot of water straight over top of the fish. I mean,
those people are special.
Yeah, they're special. There's, I mean, all the yachts and stuff
Bless
out
their
there.
Little hearts.
Can't do much about it, but just gotta roll the punches.
Well, y'all were raised right, and y'all were raised good. I definitely can say that.
It's tough to get the boat captains to think that way too.
Oh,
we got to.
Chad
we
was
got to influence
cussing.
Oh God, listen to him. Deacon Chad over here. He can't be cussing now. It's Chad. I know he's watching. I won't give him crap about that. So.
I will too. Bushy beard man.
But I think y'all. It sounds to me, like y'all got a pretty good grasp on things. So, and I will say this for everyone that's watching right now. Not a lot of questions have been asked, only a few, and I think that's just that's just
smart.
That from a fact, huh?
We ain't very smart.
No, I don't think that at all. What I'm going to say is, and I'm sure some of these guys in the comment section are about to echo what I'm saying. You guys are doing an absolutely fantastic job of going over everything. So when you're doing things and you're going over things like the way that y'all are, then you're answering people's questions before they can even get them typed out. So, but if you guys got any questions though now at this time in regards to the tournament, let's get to asking them. And while you guys get ready to ask some of these questions, we will go in right here with our second sponsor here, second two sponsors that we got right here. We got one new one. So the first one right here that we've got, Paul, if you want to take that first one away for us. And tell us about Adams Renovations for us.
Well, if you have a remodel project on the horizon, or painting, or you want to redo a bathroom or an outdoor project like a deck, fence, or patio, you can go ahead and call Adams Restoration. Charlie Adams is this 470?
Yep, 470.
470-505-3412. And he'll get the job done.
He will.
For you.
Charlie Adams Renovations. We appreciate him and his support. And then our newest sponsor is James Richardson with 17. Whoa, I about messed that up. James Richardson with 1776 United Apparel.
Crushing it.
America. Exactly. America. So we are glad to have them on board.
I'll go there. He dropped some new fishing centric stuff.
He did.
While I was on vacation.
Oh yes, he did. And we're going to be getting some of that stuff in here to be wearing it here in on the live.
It looks good.
Oh, it does. It does for 100% for sure. So first ever time here. First ever sponsorship here tonight with James Richardson, 1776 United Apparel. James, we appreciate you. If you guys are interested in sporting some America clothing while you're out there fishing or hunting or just out and about, whatever you may be, give them a look up on the internet there at 1776 United. And all you got to do is type it in on the Google and it will pop up. So, Paul's looking it up right now. So, 1776 United. Yep, that's it.
1776 United.
And right now, for you guys that may not know this, now if you go over there to 1776 United, he has 15% off your first order. So save on your very first order and get email only deals, and he's got a lot of great stuff. He's got
It's
everything
a
from
collaboration with Fish or Die.
Fish or
And,
Die.
man, the stuff looks awesome.
That is some
That
sweet
is some
shirts
sweet
right there.
stuff. So
Yeah,
listen,
sweet looking website too.
we're going to get this stuff squared away here for you guys to go check it out. But in the meantime, you guys just head on over there and go check it out. You'll know it there. He's got the big "Don't Tread on Me" snake, and he's it's a good looking website. So I highly suggest you guys go over there. So with that being said, though, we appreciate all of our sponsors and appreciate all of our support. Who's Barney?
Barney O.
Hey, paint some bills.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I got you. So
We got
you got to have some people
secret.
to help you
Secret color.
help you do that. So now we got some questions, and we're got right here as we've got the last bit of our business out of the way for this show. Facebook user wants to know, when will the bass come back to the banks? I'm new to this lake. I know they're deep right now. What lake specifically are you fishing? Is what we need to figure out.
That's a Ryan question.
Oh God, why me?
I don't bank fish.
You
I don't
bank
do
fish.
it.
Boy,
What?
Boy, y'all in for some trouble.
Not a bank fisherman. I hate it.
Unless it's springtime.
Hate it with a passion.
Y'all in trouble.
I don't do it in the springtime. I go fish market poles.
Yeah, he goes fish marker poles. Like
Go fish
With a shaky
marker
head.
poles. Go fish marker.
Go for the white
Go
crawl.
fish marker poles.
Cricket.
There are
Something
bass.
big.
There are bass right now. As you're talking about Lanier, there are bass. There are bass to be caught on the bank right now, first thing in the morning. And then there's another wave of them that you can catch really, really shallow in the backs of pockets and stuff around some of these brim beds and gizzards that are back here. They're running around Lake Lanier. That's what I'm talking about right now. So that way you know. You got all different kinds of things. There's some fish to be caught right now on a buzz bait if you're interested in it. Just make sure you get that thing on the bank. They'll bite it pretty quick on the bank. There's some fish that can be caught on an E-pop. E-pop. Hey, they crush that E-pop. There's some fish to be caught on an E-pop. And there's a little bit of a blowdown bite that's starting to pick up. That's real close to the bank. That's on Lanier right now. So, be mindful of all those things. But if you really want to get the big waves of fish that are going to be coming toward the bank here, you're about another month and a half out here, roughly. We're going to be getting into toward the end of September. And that's when your better population of fish are going to be getting back to the bank. So
Harold Grizzle's shushing you. It must have been good.
I know he is. So Matthew Smith said we need more young men like these gentlemen. Absolutely, we do. They're doing fantastic. They doing fantastic job. Cooper McDonald, if the fish come right back to the boat, do you ever target them with a drop shot or anything else? That's a very good question, Cooper. What do you guys do?
I mean, he probably already knows.
Yeah, he already knows that.
Well,
asking us.
he may just be trying to get some information out of you guys. So.
No, I do not.
We didn't. I mean, I've done it before. Like at Lanier, I've caught spots doing it, but at Hartwell, we really didn't. We just shot out, find another school, and wait for them to go back out.
Okay. Well, I mean, strategy.
But I mean, if they come in the boat in 5-10 seconds, they head back out, you could chase them down and you might get another bite out of them.
How often? Let me ask you this before we go on. We're going to try to get it to do good, but get on to this next subject because I'm really excited. I want to get the conversation started on this next subject, and I need you guys' participation in the comment section on this for sure. So get your fingers ready. I want to hear some comments on this next part that we're going to talk about. But back to that tournament real quick. Did you ever have any where you drew them to the boat and they just stayed underneath the trolling motor?
Yes, we had a lot. It looked like they were really smaller fish most of the time, but they read a little bit different when they're straight under the boat. They could have been some bigger fish, but
most
of those are spots.
Yeah, but it looked like most of the bigger ones stayed around 30 foot and out.
Yeah,
okay.
They were smarter. They were smart enough not to come to the boat. At 30 foot, they were gone.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So, Facebook user said I do good in the mornings, and about 8:30. It dies off. Well, by 8:30, you need to really get off the bank, and you really need to get offshore on Lanier right now.
Even if you don't have live scope, you can really go out there and fang cast points.
Yes,
and you can catch fish.
Yes, they will come. They will come a long ways to come when they want to eat. They will come a long ways to come get a bait.
Oh yeah,
and a lot of
we
times,
was catching them. We throw out there and we'd make a bad cast or whatever, 20 foot in front of them because the wind's blowing.
Right,
and they'd come from 20 foot away. 20, 30 even.
Right.
And fish you didn't even know were there would come for it. Yeah. And a lot of people try to overcomplicate it with baits. I'm very guilty of doing it. But
yes, very.
What everybody says catches them on Lanier, topwater, I mean, you've got all your top waters, all your walking baits, OG,
swimmers,
any hard
Swim
hard swimmers,
hard swimmers.
jerk shads, flukes, all that stuff. Have 5-6 rods. Have you a worm. Have you a drop shot on the deck, and you can catch 98.67% of the fish on.
That's a very specific number you just shouted out.
I did some research on it.
Oh, he did some research there. So
Looked it up.
He's got a spreadsheet going.
Yep.
Oh Lord, I don't know about all that. So I got to mile. He said so. RH Fishing, fantastic guy. So
Hey. Hi, Ryan.
Ryan Hanks in the building.
Ryan Hanks. That's absolutely. We already gave. That's I hadn't seen Ryan post and comment in a while. We already gave Cast X12 braid some love. So
Yes, awesome
that was what
stuff.
that was the braid that they used the entire tournament, and that they will continue to use, I'm sure.
Oh,
so
100%.
100%.
They were leaving the tournament. Colby said, "I really need some more cast braid," because he had that rod, or he had another rod that he was gonna use, but he couldn't use it because we didn't have any more cast braid. And I looked on my phone, and I saw the cast fishing had just dropped it. I went on there and bought 2 things of the 12.
Did
got
you
lucky.
buy it or did Chad buy it?
I bought it.
Oh,
He bought it. I paid
he
him
bought
back. I don't know if I paid him back.
He
or not.
bought.
I think I did.
You owe me some money.
I'm gonna let y'all deal with that later.
Trouble in paradise.
Trouble in paradise with this team
No,
already.
he paid
No,
you
I'm,
back.
I'm just kidding. Listen to me. You get me paid back here, So, all right.
What's this next topic?
This next topic.
I
Everybody,
already
get
know
your
about
fingers ready. I
I already
want to
know
get
about
some
it.
participation with this. So I'm looking at all you guys. I want to get some participation with this. So I've had some time to think about this, and I've really been thinking about this kind of all week. Kind of really, putting the puzzle together and kind of thinking about all the examples that we have, in this past 2 years, pretty much, basically, is what we'll say. Here is my question, or really my statement, I guess, or however you really want to twist it. We'll twist it. Opinion, yeah, we'll twist it however we want to do it. So, this is what I've got to say: is the next generation that is currently coming up right now, high school, college, and a little beyond college right now, is North Georgia becoming a powerhouse for producing top anglers in competitive fishing and in the guide industry? And my statement is, or my opinion is, yes. I believe North Georgia is starting to take the mantle away from some of these other places. It may be a opinionated thing, but you cannot deny the success. We got you guys right now, that just come off a third. You got Emil Wagner that just won the BFL All-American. You got Paul Marks Jr.,
Buddy Benson.
Matt O'Connell. You got, and he's a little bit more middle Georgia, down around Sinclair, but he comes up here and fishes a lot. Buddy Benson, Jacob Jannon,
Cooper
some of the
McDonald.
other ones.
Cooper
McDonald is one, that he's definitely going to his name's going to be in the conversation. You got some guys that were fishing high school, but while you were fishing against them, guys like Scooter Legan, they're on a full ride scholarship.
BJ Collins.
But yeah, absolutely. You've got Kaz as another one.
Yeah,
We have this big chunk here of these guys who are really, really, really well. And you guys, I know you're going to be humble, but you guys have been thrown into that conversation, in my opinion, because that third place is nothing to shy away from by no means. You guys beat out 479 other or 78 other teams, to be third. But I think
that's a good. Not just North Georgia.
But Southern Mountain areas. Yeah. So
like you've also got all the people like, I believe Brian News from up in South Carolina.
Yeah.
I know Brandon Cobb is.
Mm-hmm.
Got a lot of great fishermen from around the South Carolina area. All those lakes got, just right around here in the in the foothills of the mountains. Great fishermen coming out of these parts.
Okay. Yeah. We got to go back to the tournament real quick again because Connor Hewitt was a little bit late there. He said he's late. Did you focus on finding bait, or what were your top baits, if you don't mind? Just give a quick little rundown one more time on what y'all did, real quick.
Right there.
Lanier Baits
Give us a rundown.
Lanier Baits jerk
You're on
shad.
camera.
We did not catch a single fish on anything else but a soft jerk bait.
A combination of the Lanier Baits jerk shads and some Zoom Super Flukes. And y'all
3-aught worm hook.
3-aught worm hook, spinning rod,
I mean,
cast X12 braid.
You can throw it on a worm hook. You can throw it on a top hook. You can throw it on a nose hook. You can throw it however your heart desires, but they'll eat it.
Mm-hmm. Understandable. So, and they pretty much focused on one area with brush piles.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty much all y'all.
Brush piles and bait around.
Yeah.
Bait around the brush piles.
So hopefully that gives you a little bit of a quick overview, Connor. If you want to
scoping and looking for the wolf pack.
Scoping and hoping.
Scoping and hoping.
Connor, when this is over, you can go back and you can watch. They go in a lot more detail from earlier in the show. Ron Swinford said, I think
that's one of the
I think live scope plus Lake
Herons
is a good combo for younger anglers. They are better at electronics, and lots of that will translate to smallies and largies in clear water.
100%.
I totally agree with that.
Yes, that's
I totally agree with
great opinion, great comment.
Yeah. So, all these examples though that we're given, I can personally make the argument and say that I believe up in these areas, specifically hanging around these herring lakes, I think it challenges y'all from the get-go, because you have to go fish these lakes. Y'all obviously have a good understanding of electronics, especially with forward-facing sonar, but understanding your graphs, utilizing your graphs to find the productive areas and to find the stuff that you need to focus on to have success. Because let's face it, all these lakes up here that we all fish, they're full of fish. I don't think anybody's going to deny that Allatoona, Lanier, Hartwell, Chateau, Clark Hill, they're slap full of fish. They're absolutely slap full of fish. There's fish to be caught from one end of the lake of each one of them to the other. But it's all about finding that one little diamond in the rough kind of pattern or bait that's going to get you squared away to have better success during your tournaments. What rod and reel setups, if you don't mind? What is that whole rod and reel setup?
Some Mega Bass. What is it?
Levante.
7
big
foot.
Money.
It's 7 foot.
It ain't like them NRXs.
Oh,
that's a $250 rod.
Yeah.
It's a great rod for $250.
And what reel is that?
It's a Daiwa Fuego.
Daiwa Fuego.
I don't believe
reel.
in spending $500.
Yes, I don't believe in Stellas. I don't believe in any of the Shimanos after I spend $100 or however much on a Fuego. Even the Excellers, the Daiwa Excellers,
they're not bad.
Great reels for like $80. Daiwa makes the best budget spinning reels. Well, I don't even think we have the most expensive spinning reel that we own is a Daiwa BG, and that's like $120.
No, well, we own my dad's got a Tatula.
Yeah, the Tatula. Yeah, Tatulas are great too. I love the Daiwa stuff.
I'll use it anytime I want to.
Got it for his birthday, and you use it more than he does.
Oh,
yeah,
Lord.
he don't even fish.
He's too busy working.
I know, but even if he does go fishing, he just sits out there in the boat.
Oh, well.
He's maybe about like Chad.
Maybe he just wants to watch y'all two,
excel.
Yeah, he's about like Chad.
Excel. So,
Chad just sits out there and eats.
We got some more, comments about, we're lucky down there, West Point, the numbers are down. Great job. Over 481 teams, 481 the best had to qualify. So back to the topic at hand, though, that I really wanted to, keep our teeth sunk into here. So you have to learn grass fishing, how to catch them in dirty water, but that's two things that you two both have said that
that's the main thing we need to get better at.
Need to get better at.
We're not great at it. We lucked up at Seminole,
right?
100%. But we was also using live scope.
Yep.
Right. So I mean, okay. So that's the way they are.
That was just a secret.
It's a waste of time sitting in the back of the boat, Jason. that your mom? Probably commenting, and Jason's over there on the side.
Yeah.
Probably what it was. So, in terms of so let's talk about this though. I want both of y'all to say
What's Chad
this.
say right there?
I just don't want to hear. I just
Don't want to wear you
I
out.
just don't want to wear you out. Hurt your feelings. Go forth.
Yeah. You sure do that all the time.
Y'all are crazy. Y'all got some really fine captains, and of course they're both your dads. So
Two of the best.
Two of the best. That's fun to do. It's fun to do. So, but overall, if going into this next year and beyond, because y'all got 2 years left, and here we are. Y'all have already admitted that there's things that y'all have got to work on and got to improve on. Between the two of y'all as a pair, let's talk about as a pair first, and then let's go into individuality, because I want to stay on topic here with what we're talking about. To be considered in that top echelon up here that I already think that y'all guys are already, I think y'all are up there already right now as, great anglers from up here in North Georgia that are going to definitely, if y'all pursue it, y'all are going to have opportunity, in college and stuff to move on and do what y'all want to do, and compete in the college level. But as a team and then individually, I want both of y'all to answer this question. As a team, in terms of not live scoping, take live scope out of the picture. What's something that y'all can immediately feel like y'all need to immediately already like kind of have a step on that you can feel pretty good about in terms of improving when it comes to fishing these dirty water grass lakes, for largemouth?
Fishing grass.
Just
Under-
grass.
So I don't really think it's as much grass. I think it's like grass. That's one thing we never fish is grass.
'Cause we ain't got it.
Yeah, we don't have it around here. It's hard to practice it when there's not really grass anywhere close. But or as far as big lakes are,
Well, you got Chickamauga.
yeah, you got Chick. You got a lot of. We've just never
You
really
follow,
fished.
there ain't
it.
no grass down there
Not anymore. No,
Yeah.
not anymore.
But
no more on you follow.
It's just if we can
Gone.
get on the shallow largemouth bite more than anything, because a lot of times we fished a tournament at Hartwell in like what was the March or during it was sometime in the spring, I think.
It's April.
March, April, something like that. But
this past year, yeah, it's April.
And so we were out there live scoping, and we caught a lot of little spots. We got 7th in that tournament.
Yeah.
So it really wasn't that bad of a tournament. We still managed to keep our names in the conversation as far as being up there. And but the main thing was there was a shallow bite. Those big largemouth, there's a lot of good largemouth up shallow, and we didn't hit the banks all day because we were out there scoping. And that's one thing sometimes we just gotta turn away from that graph and go up shallow and really try to figure that out. But because
in practice we had a better day.
Yeah, we had a great day. If we would have caught them like we would have caught them in practice, we could have done a lot better in the tournament. We caught a lot of good spots.
Yeah,
and I think even one big largemouth.
Yeah,
I caught a bunch
30 and changes, and that would do really good in that tournament. I'm not sure what won it. I know
it was 18. I think won it.
Yeah, Peyton and then Buddy finished. Peyton won it barely over Buddy Benson and BJ.
Yeah. So like, in terms of like, shallow, springtime type stuff, because that's probably when y'all majority of them tournaments are going to be, is on these largemouth lakes where you're going to have to fish shallow. You're going to have to figure some things out. That's just going to be the game. In spring, if you can figure out how to catch some big largemouth, you're going to have yourself a shot. And then when y'all get beyond, y'all haven't really experienced it yet, but I'm sure y'all probably both have aspirations for fishing college, correct? Maybe if the cards are on the table,
maybe.
So if the cards are on the table and you're going to go to college, y'all know pretty much right from the get-go. Do y'all know where y'all going to be at the beginning of the year when you go to college?
Not really. No.
Florida.
Probably.
You're going to be in Florida.
And
you're going to be on the Harris Chain,
Harris Chain,
somewhere like that.
To be
that
honest,
is where y'all season's going to kick
I'll go get me
off.
some shiners.
Well,
Give me a float.
Colby has like 12 rods, 12 big old flipping sticks with ambassadors on them, loaded up with big old braid, sitting at the house, and he throws shiners on when they go down there every year.
And that's fun too.
That's a good point right there too. Says from Ron Swinford. So you can't forget sometimes you have to just go old school bass fishing, and yeah, sometimes you do. You know, my advice, I can tell you this. You know, when y'all go to some of these lakes, is there's absolutely nothing wrong, you know, whatsoever with you know, like in March, you know, pick up a spinnerbait or a chatterbait or something, and just go run it. Go run it. But see, I know mentally, you know, you got to get your mind right on that thing.
When we started out, it was during COVID when I actually started fishing. The most fishing that I had done.
He's evolved more than anybody I know. Wyatt has.
Me and Dad fished out of a 17-foot Carolina skiff. We'd go to Carter's Lake and we would fish till lunch, and we'd go out there. And we could not catch fish, and it was pitiful. We couldn't catch a dang fish to save our life, and we were beating the bank. And after that was when I was younger, and when COVID hit, we didn't have nothing to do, and I was looking to get into it. And so, Dad, we found this skeeter, and we went and got it. Great deal on skeeters. So we went and got it, and we were on the lake, if not every day, every other day, just out there fishing. And we didn't have live scope. We had it came with a 4Trex and a 9 HDS Gen 3 on the front. And we went out there and we beat the banks. And me and Dad got on some really good fish. We started in March, I believe. So it was the perfect time to get started and really build that confidence up. And we went and we caught them on a shaky head and a fluke and all kinds of stuff up shallow, fishing docks. And I think that's helped me a lot more. I think that we can go, especially in March, we can go and catch fish shallow. I know we can. It's just
shallow.
But it's just, it's tough. It's tough when you know all there's giant fish offshore. It's tough to go shallow. And
it is tough. It is tough to go shallow, you know, if you're not comfortable doing it. So that, you know, that leads into this over here with Connor Hewitt. You know, he says, I'm the opposite. I'm wanting to beat the bank. What are some tips to get motivated to fish deep?
Do you, I don't want to say that. Do you have live scope?
Yeah,
he has live scope.
Okay, so if he has live scope, the number one thing is find you some brush piles on points, humps, blow throughs, whatever you want to find.
Name it.
Anywhere. Lanier has so many brush piles. It's not even.
There's a brush pile on every point on Lanier.
Yes,
it's
absolutely absurd.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
The key is exactly what you're saying. If you can find the freshest brush, you know,
better off.
Freshest brush. If you can find the fresher brush, you know, that's kind of the key. But the biggest advice that I can give you, Connor, is you just got to go do it.
Yeah, you got to put all your shallow rods up. Go out there, find you one brush pile to start off with. Find you a brush pile, get you a good view of it on the scope, and look at those fish. Throw your bait out there and see how they actually react to your bait,
and see how they're set up on the brush pile too.
See how they're set up. Kevin Underwood was saying that when he was on here a few weeks ago. See how they're set up on it. If they're low, you can drag a worm. You can do whatever.
If they're over top of that brush pile, stacked on top of it, I like to bring some over it.
Yeah, because the spots are looking up. Those spots are sitting there. They're looking up. They're waiting for that herring to just shoot across the top of that brush pile.
That's right.
And you can't outrun a spot.
That's right.
Fast, especially now.
They are, they don't make reels, spinning reels, or bait casters that are fastest.
And everybody, you can pull it away from them. Don't get me wrong. You can make them not interested if you go quick enough.
Yeah.
But some of the fish that I saw this past weekend, I saw one actually go up on a herring, but we didn't see the herring on live scope. But we saw one shoot up out of the brush pile, and it looked like interference. It shot up so quick on the thing.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, there he is. And he went from 30 foot at close to the base of the brush pile all the way up to the top. He was the only fish. It couldn't have been one up higher.
In a second or two.
In a matter of a second or under a second. Came up and hit that herring.
They got some serious speed.
They got some burst.
They got another gear they can hit for sure. What rods do you consider shallow rods? Well, you know, it's not really necessarily like the rods, but it's your baits.
Yeah, it's just your baits. Like don't really you can fish the
It's
same
just your
stuff
thought,
shallow.
yeah.
Just your mindset.
You can.
I feel like
Ain't no
it's
telling how many fish have been. Y'all won that. Y'all. I say won that tournament, but y'all got third place in that tournament. Had yourselves an opportunity to win it. Throwing flukes and throwing jerk shads.
Yeah.
They ain't no telling how many fish have been caught. Running banks with jerk shads and flukes and stuff, just running down the bank.
The boys that got second place, they was fishing in 10 inches of water, or shallower.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I don't know if I 100% believe it, but I'm not gonna say they didn't. They claimed that they caught them on a 10.5-inch worm. Did they?
Yeah, Dad talked to him after too.
So he talked to me for just a second, and he said that they were flipping bushes with a 10.5-inch worm. And they said they're just getting big bites.
It was a dirt shallow fish.
Dirt shallow. He said like 6 inches of water, flipping a 10.5-inch worm.
He said,
I don't see how.
My lake isn't herring, it's gizzard. Does that change any? No, absolutely not, because the gizzards, there's just as many gizzards that live offshore and get offshore.
It does change how you're going to fish it.
Yes.
Because it's not a herring lake, but it doesn't change how there's still fish offshore.
Unlike on herring lakes compared to gizzard shad lake, on a herring lake, 8 out of 10 times speed kills.
Yep.
8 out of 10
100%.
times speed kills. Gizzard shads, you can go with a little bit bigger of a profile bait, with gizzard shad lake, but West Point does have West Point does have gizzards, and West Point does have a population of blueback herring in it for sure. Do y'all run something like a DD26 live foot for your sonar?
Not sure what that is.
That's it's a separate arm for the live scope, so
no.
you can spot lock, but then you can move
I feel like that'd be pretty cool, but we don't. I mean, we don't have a problem doing what we're doing.
I don't ever spot lock unless pretty much we catch
Yeah,
fish.
a lot of people say it. You really don't use your Ultrex, your spot lock when you're out there scoping as much as you think you would.
No, you really don't.
I mean, if you're setting up on a brush pile and throwing to the brush pile,
And you
making
know where
cast
it's
after
at.
cast, you know where it's at, lining up with it. You can point your live scope at it, see where it's at, line it up with something on the bank, and throw at it. But if you're out there scoping, you really don't put it on live scope because you're not going to be able to see where your fish are when it turns around to back you up, and you just run it like a Fortrex, really.
Yeah. Like for me, if I'm doing that, if I hook up on a fish, then the first thing after I set the hook on a fish is I stomp the spot lock.
Yeah,
I don't want to drift in.
Yeah.
That's the one
outside
good
of that,
part.
I
That's
don't really
what we
use
do.
it a whole lot. Yeah.
If you catch a fish, we'll spot lock, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Keeps you from in there. So the big worm will work really shallow water. You can fish it with a lightweight, but you have to fish it slowly in those bushes. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know how they were setting theirs up. They were probably either going lightweight or they were going really heavy, and they're just trying to produce that reaction by trying to get them the big profile.
Yep.
It just fishes different than the mountain lakes, and it does fish a little bit. Lake Wedowee, that's another one right there. It's a little bit different. What are some top baits you throw all year offshore? I feel a spinner bait work, but a spinner bait.
Very conditional.
A very conditional bait. It works better around cover. It works better shallower. To a certain extent, it works shallower. But
mini-me, especially for spot lakes,
the mini-me
really
on
good.
spot lakes, but the mini-me works on largemouth lakes too. Absolutely, it does.
Great compact.
Some of the top baits though you can throw all year offshore. I mean, if you got a
what
herring
everybody
lake,
says,
flukes, jerk
Top
shads,
waters.
top waters,
flukes,
jerk baits,
hard swimmers,
yeah,
jerk baits, top water.
yeah.
Anything
Stuff like
herring.
that.
You were trying to Connor. You were trying to really emulate something, in terms of like a blueback herring or something that
Imitate
will
their
draw the
forge.
fish to them. Yeah, exactly. And if you don't know much about blueback herring fast.
They're
Yeah,
real.
and
They ain't much
they swim
faster than a
straight.
blueback herring.
If you ever see one on the water, look at it close. Watch it.
You ever see them V-wakes going
looks
across
just like
the
a
water?
Sabille. You see a V-wake coming, you wait.
The thing
And you
about
wait for
it,
that spot
if
to
you
come
put
get
that worm hook in there and you reel it, it looks
gotta-
just like a herring.
You got to
It
line
does.
it up straight. A
It
lot of people
does.
don't really notice it because they don't fish it like that. But if you get these things,
You rig it good,
especially
you
with
rig it
these,
perfect.
because they're so soft, you hold a zoom fluke like this, it ain't gonna droop down like that. This thing is extremely soft. So this tail, as soon as you get it, it's kicking like crazy when you reel it. And it's just got that little subtle kick. And you can fish it on an underspin or just a worm hook. You just got to make sure it's lined up straight so it doesn't spin. But, I mean,
especially on the wolf pack fish. If you throw it out there and they see it and
if they see it and it looks just like a herring, because a herring's not going to stop and wait for unless it's a dead herring, it's not going to sit there and wait.
When it gets separated from the school of herring, when a single herring gets separated from a school of herring, it is doing everything it can to get away.
Yeah,
it only has one thing on its mind, and it's trying to get away. And when that happens, them largemouth and spots that are out there eating on them things, they have one thing: I gotta go get that thing, and they're gonna go get it.
Yeah, they're gonna get it.
They're gonna get it.
They're gonna knock it out of the water about 15 times before they do.
They will.
They're gonna get it.
They will. They definitely will. So, but hopefully that'll give you a little bit of a kind of starter and to kind of what to think about. For me, one thing that has changed with me in terms of live scope is a jerk bait. Just a hard jerk bait. Jerk bait seems to work pretty good too. Especially though, not on really fish that aren't really doing a whole lot, but if you have fish that are actively schooling and you see them physically schooling, whether it's underneath the surface or on the surface, jerk baits work really, really well. Those right there, the flukes and the jerk shads work really, really well as well on those particular areas. So, do you use a swivel in front of your fluke to get it down and put a nail weight in it?
Nail. A lot of people throw swivels in front of theirs, like
I do.
Like people throw them on bait casters. I can understand that.
Yeah.
But like we just throw them worm hook.
Yeah. That's the way.
If you need to get down, you can put a nail in it.
Mm-hmm.
But you could also nose hook it and put a nail in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, that's what we usually do. If we're gonna fish it like that, we'll usually nose hook it.
But y'all didn't do that this past weekend, right?
No.
Y'all just fished it with a worm hook. Didn't do anything else with it. No nail weight, no swivel.
I did catch the 4.5 or the 4.5 on day one.
My question would be, what made you guys decide to go with just the worm hook instead of the nose hook
for the swimming action?
Yeah, it swims better. I feel like because it weights down the belly just a little bit, not much, but it's hanging below the bait, so it's gonna make the bait stand straight up. Unless it's rigged funny, then it's just gonna spin like a helicopter lure. But
that's a good answer. Fishing Lanier in March, are you still deep? Absolutely not.
You can be. You definitely
can be.
But you don't.
You better be in 15 or less.
Yeah, even for like your offshore fish, you can still go catch them out there. But if you're fishing for spots, the offshore bite is a lot shallower, a lot higher up on the points, a lot closer.
The way to win in March is going shallower.
Yeah. Yeah, even if it's on like a shallow hump, like Colby's talking about, you get it out there, and you may have a hump that's real offshore, which you got a reef marker, whether or not some idiot has ran it over or not, it just depends. But because there's a lot of that goes on.
Yeah.
But getting offshore, I've caught spots in March and stuff up there in 2 foot of water out there in the middle of the lake on a hump. On a real shallow one, and they're there.
My biggest spot ever come out of 10, 15 foot of water in January.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe 100%. How big was it?
521.
521. That's a good one.
Good.
On a shaky head.
Everybody's like, worm can't do no good in tournament. Shaky head catch snot out.
My biggest bag of spots have come on a shaky head.
I know everybody and their brother fishes a shaky head.
Shaky head don't matter. Coast to coast.
Catches them.
It'll catch them coast to coast. Catches them. So, did Peter Jack even catch a fish in that tournament?
Yeah, I did catch one.
Was that you?
Yeah, that's what he calls me.
That's what he called you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. How many did you catch?
I catch?
Yeah.
I don't know. We probably caught about the same, didn't we?
Okay, we're all a team. I just want to say that right now. We're all a team.
We're all a team. Okay.
Like Colby, there's been times that I go out there, and there's times a year where Colby just catches them. Colby flat out catches the snot out of. And sometimes I can't
that's when
buy
I'm struggling to get Wyatt to throw the exact same thing I'm throwing.
Oh,
Yeah, I
He's
want to.
trying to adventure out, and I'm wearing him out on a certain bait, and he just keeps adventuring.
it just
But,
continues to
Like we caught it didn't really matter to us. I think Colby caught the two bigs, or Colby caught two fish on the first day.
Yeah. He caught every fish on the second day.
I caught every fish on the second day, and Colby caught two bigs on the last, or not two bigs, two fish, two of our keepers on the last day. It really don't matter.
So
but
we
just
swapped it up.
downgraded you. He said bigs and he said keepers.
well, hey, I didn't catch no bigs either. We didn't catch squat
I just
last
giving y'all
day.
crap. I just giving y'all crap. So, but yeah, Drew right there, Hickory Flat. Drew said y'all caught a lot. Y'all did catch a lot of fish because if y'all are basically averaging somewhere in the round of 17, 18 pounds, outside of that last day, I mean that's y'all are on. I mean, there really ain't another way to describe them. Y'all own them. Y'all own them pretty good. That's really no other way to describe it. Mm-hmm. So y'all did fantastic. So y'all really did. And I know y'all probably gonna roll your eyes at this. I know this is a school night for you guys, and school just started back this week. So y'all got Tuesday off. I know. Was it Tuesday? Y'all had Tuesday off, whatever day the power went out. And
we didn't have to go that day.
We didn't have to go anyways.
That was the day the freshmen all go.
Oh, they do that. They do that now.
Yeah, it's like a staggered start or something.
Wow,
but all the freshmen left as soon as sometime after they got there, and they had
Did they even go there?
Had to go home.
They went there.
They went there because the buses had to take everybody back. I saw a ton of buses taking people back at whenever it was. Yeah.
Well, interesting. So I don't know. I just know Farmer told me that power was out. I was like, oh boy. All right. Do what?
He would know.
He would know. Fishing with Farmer would know. When in the year do you stop throwing a shaky head?
Never.
Oh.
Never. No, don't say no.
It.
Never.
I ain't picked up a shaky head in 2 months.
Really?
No.
I ain't either.
No, I ain't.
I mean, they'll eat it all year long. They eat it better certain times of the year, but they'll eat it. If you're having a tough day, go throw a shaky head. You'll catch them. You might not catch big.
Me and Wyatt, we was fishing a tournament. We was catching them good on Caltech, and that kind of laid off a little bit toward later in the day. And I picked up a shaky head, and we caught what? I caught that 521, and you caught a 4.
Yep.
Bam, bam.
On a shaking head.
We said, shaking head. Catch them spot bass on a shaking head.
Spot bass on shaky head. Around that cat head rock is probably one of the most important things that you got to do.
That tournament was kind of funny. We were catching them good on a Caltech, and I was out there just going down the bank. All of a sudden on screen, I see a big old fresh brush pile. I'm like, man, if they were on brush, that'd be a dang good one to be on.
Yeah.
So I reached down there and got a shaky head, throw out there. 4.
I threw in there and I caught a little 5. Bitty one.
Ooh. I was like,
oh, then you caught
maybe they are on.
Yeah. We caught 3 in that one spot.
Don't that suck though sometimes?
Yeah.
You catch a 5-pounder and you catch like a 14-inch.
No, I caught the 14-inch before I caught the 5.
Dang, add insult to injury. My fault.
No, I went over.
Fault.
We scanned to the right about 10, 15 foot out the boat. And I was like, it's a good one. I flipped out there, donk, and I set the hook, and it was a big one.
There he is, get the net. Dunk.
Get the net already? What if he, fool you? You that good with a live scope?
No. I'm just hoping.
Trick question.
I ain't that good. Cooper's better than me. So.
Listen, they give props to Cooper over here. So no, but I think the entire North Georgia area, from guys like you guys like Cooper McDonald, on down the list, Emil Wagner on up, even to the college level with Kaz and Scooter Ligon and some of those other guys that are in college and stuff right now and fishing. I think there's something to be said about the North Georgia area, specifically around the mountains and stuff. I think it's just producing. I think the evidence is there. It's just producing a better competitive angler, and I think you two are definitely an example of that in terms of the competitive angler scene. So
I don't want to say that we're in that conversation just yet. I don't want to get big headed. We had one good tournament.
Y'all don't have to be big headed to be up there.
But
third place is third place.
Third
out of
place
that
is third
thing.
place, but
y'all also, I follow y'all around and stuff, and y'all also during the year when y'all fish some of y'all's other little tournaments and stuff that y'all fish, y'all do very, very well.
yeah,
Y'all
but
do
like
very well. Y'all have some big bags of
we're
fish.
only sophomores, and everybody says y'all are only sophomores, and then you look at the Georgia, the Hammers and Georgia Bass Nation, and literally all of them are freshmen or sophomores. Now sophomores or juniors. There's a lot of absolute hammers that are in our grade.
See, it's getting up there. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's what the big issue is just the overall quality up here is just so much better. So before we wrap this thing up, though, we're not going to go the whole 2 hours. We're going to cut it a little bit short again, being a little bit of a school night for
But
you
one
guys.
thing is time on the water.
Time on, okay,
is
yeah,
the
that's
biggest
what I was
thing.
about to get into. I was going to say, give me some advice.
You can watch. I've watched hours and hours and days of YouTube videos, and you can learn a lot from that.
Mm-hmm.
But actually being out there and doing it, if you want to get good at fishing,
That's the biggest thing.
don't go buy. I'm a tackle junkie too, but don't go buy that $400 worth of baits on Tackle Warehouse. Go put it in your gas tank, go out the lake, and go fish.
Yep, that's real solid advice.
I really need to start listening to that advice more.
Yeah.
Because
You're saying
very,
it.
very often I'll go on Tackle Warehouse and blow a lot of money that I don't need to spend.
Facebook user right there, Georgia Bass Nation is loaded with hammers. And Drew said, I think it's because of how adaptive you have to be in the mountain areas. Look at the weather changes you face year round. That is a very good point.
Yes.
So, but with that on the mountain areas and the changing, that's just like what you just said. Time on the water is hard to beat.
Yep.
And if you really want to get there and you really want to get that good,
That's why
and
them
you want
boys
to be
over there
successful,
catching 22, 23, 24 pounds of spots.
yeah.
They're on the water all the time.
Yeah, exactly. I wish I could spend that much
I
time
do
on the
too.
water. I really
Yep.
wish I could, but I can't.
But no.
Someone's got to be here to run the store because someone ain't here past 2 days. But
Danny.
Danny Pruitt, he ain't gonna watch it.
He's a movie star.
Danny has strep throat, so you guys,
I think he's
you
playing
guys
hooky.
think about it. Oh, he might.
We're
Be,
sorry for making fun of you,
I think he
Danny.
might be playing a little bit of hooky, but it
He's
is what
milking
it is. Oh, we won't go there. We won't go there. So, what was that comment
love you,
right
Danny.
there? Some of us has to work. Get some new freshman hammers. Got some new freshman hammers coming up. Georgia is loaded. Yeah. So,
Yeah, there's a lot of new.
I'm gonna guess that's Raymond Wood. I think I know who he's talking about.
oh yeah. His boy's getting out of middle school and coming into high school.
That kid's got some game.
Oh yeah,
Oh, he does. Kyle does. He does.
Kyle's shaky head master. Kyle's shaky head master.
Is he?
Yeah,
He'll throw that spot choker too.
yeah, he will. He's good with spot choker too. I think catch one shaky head.
Yeah. Somebody got to build my jigs. Listen, they ain't gonna get built if I ain't here. So I got to be here to get them built. So, but listen, I think it's just self-evident. You guys got a lot of support. I think it's good that we all supporting everyone up here in Georgia, up here specifically too in North Georgia. But these kids, they are the future of the sport. When I'm dead and gone, y'all are still gonna be around because
And yes, too, up there, Facebook user.
Oh yeah,
Juniors.
those boys from Hart County, they're gonna be trouble.
are they?
They're hammers.
They're in 8th grade.
I think they're in. I'm not sure. I know they're juniors though. They just won the national championship. So
They'd be in 7th or 8th grade.
They
They're
could
seventh
be, or
grade.
they could be going into high school. I'm not sure.
but they're
I
hammers.
guess you'll find out when you get into
Yeah.
it. So.
I guess we'll find out when they drop a.
All right. So last little thing I want to say before I say anything else, and look at Cooper there. Congratulations to the best. See, you got a fellow competitor, who sometimes kicks
Thanks,
y'all's teeth
Cooper.
in.
Sometimes, all the time.
He's giving y'all some
Wait,
props
hold-
there.
Hold that up again, Colby. There you
Oh,
go.
look at that, the heart for Cooper.
Love you,
There.
Cooper.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, it's gonna be fun getting to watch you guys.
Give us some weight
compete
points.
against- Oh, fish tips.
You know, use live scope.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Cooper needs to start a fish tips.
He could probably do it. Make some
Yeah.
gas money.
Yeah.
Make some brush pile.
I got the
money.
meat.
Is he even driving yet?
No, he ain't driving.
No,
yet.
he's like a freshman. He's one of the littlest freshmen I've ever seen in my life, too. He comes up like my hip.
4'11".
I do still love you, Cooper.
4'11" hammer.
I'm just giving you grief.
Hey,
dude, so.
his back don't hurt when he's sitting there leaned over looking at that live scope all day.
He's already there.
I need to go to the chiropractor after a day of fishing.
Golly.
It's bad.
Don't look at it that hard. You just do every now and then. It's okay to go do some other things every now and then.
Every now and then.
Every now and then.
Yeah.
It's okay to do a thing. I'll be honest with you right now. I'm a shallow water guy, and every single one of my fish that I've been catching for the past couple of weeks, if you all want to sign up to our fishing reports and on members only page, on YouTube channel, you'll hear me saying that. I pretty much every single one of them I've been catching the past couple of weeks has been strictly off live scope. And that's for me, that's a little bit different, but having the technology that I've invested into it also too is a little bit different. So, but my advice to anybody, if you want to learn how to do it, you just got to get out there and go do it. Time on the water, just got to go do it. You got to do it. So, but pretty sure the Hart County team was that passed us, pasted us Saturday up the Tougaloo Arm. I think it's past us up the Tougaloo Arm. So up Tougaloo River.
Probably so.
So we're going to close this thing out with you guys. They want to follow you guys along here for this coming up season. What all you guys are planning on fishing this coming up year?
So we've got
trail wise.
The GHSF, ain't it right?
Mm-hmm.
Jesse
GHSF.
Mm-hmm.
And we got Georgia Bass Nation.
Mm-hmm.
We're hoping to qualify again you can qualify for the SAF National World Finals through GHSF.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the one of the main goals through that trail. And to go try to beat Cooper is the other goal. But
okay. They're coming for you, Cooper. So but y'all did a great job tonight. I learned something, and y'all did a great job. Y'all did a fantastic job. Y'all are very well raised young men, young boys. Y'all are doing a fantastic job. We will eagerly continue to watch y'all's fishing career with interest, as well as some of the others like Cooper McDonald and several of the other ones that are in the high school ranks. They're along that line. And we will watch all of y'all's careers with peaked eyebrows and interest for sure. So, Colby, Wyatt, I appreciate you guys coming in.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate y'all.
Glad to have y'all, and we're proud of y'all. Go ahead.
I want to thank all our Pickens County sponsors, all our platinum sponsors: Fish North Georgia, Turner Tire, Goforth Gray, Namaquil Electric, Sackett's, and Power Solutions Unlimited, and Farm Bureau, and all the platinum sponsors and all the other sponsors. Turn around, Colby.
Just give us a little spin.
There you go. Give us a spin.
Give us a
Totally
spin.
around. Look at him.
Yeah, man.
I don't think all the
Solar nails. Oh, that's right up the road here. Solar nails.
I want to thank Tony, Brandon, all the boys at Georgia Bass Nation for helping us
and coming
get
up there,
here, coming up there, supporting us, all our family and friends, everybody for just being with us through the tournament season.
Good.
Shake and bake.
Y'all are good,
baby.
Y'all are good boys. Y'all are good boys. I appreciate y'all.
Go Dogs.
And I appreciate y'all. We love y'all to death, and we really do appreciate y'all. So sell it, they said. Yeah, that's right. So listen, guys, we appreciate you guys watching. Appreciate you guys listening in, and this will be put up on iTunes and Spotify as always. Now, as we continue to do these, and we really enjoy doing these. Next week, we got a surprise episode we're not going to really talk about till next week, but it's going to be pretty big. It's going to be really, really interesting. You need to make sure you're here watching it. If you're not here watching it, you're going to be out of the loop for a little bit because it's only going to be mentioned here on the live Fish North Georgia when it happens. And then after that, it'll be mentioned all over the other place. So you guys need to be here next week. You need to be watching. So we appreciate you guys. We appreciate our sponsors For Her Outdoor Apparel, Miss Jennifer and Peyton. We appreciate you. I personally appreciate y'all for sponsoring me this coming up season for the Georgia Bass Trail. Adams Renovations, Charlie Adams, we appreciate you always. And then, of course, our newest sponsor, James Richardson with 1776 United. I appreciate you, and we're happy to have you on board, and we'll be sporting some of your clothing throughout these rest of these live wells. So check out all these great fine sponsors. Tomorrow is $5 Fridays on For Her Outdoor Apparel, so get over there and go get a hold of that as well. So I appreciate you guys. Y'all have a good one. Paul's already tried to fade me out.
Hit the button too soon.
He's trying to tell me to shut the hell up. So
take us home, baby.
We're going in home, but we appreciate all you guys. And Wyatt, Colby, again, appreciate you guys having us.
Thank y'all for tuning in.
Yeah, thank y'all.
Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button on our YouTube channel. Hit me up for anything else on the membership page if you're interested in that. Got a lot of good stuff on there. You guys need to check that out. Got a lot of good videos, got a lot of good information that you're only going to find on that members only page. And of course, it supports us and allows us to be able to do this show and bring you guys this content like this. So y'all guys, will peace out. Appreciate y'all. And we will see you guys next week here Thursday night, 8 p.m. on the Live Well.
Adios.
See y'all.
Thank y'all.
Good night, everybody. Okay, we're done.
Paul, go.